Garrisons, August 2026. Let's go. I know a thing or two about garrisoning, okay? I run the meta garrison on my main account for cavalry. I run the meta garrison on the infantry account on my second account in 2359. I've run as many garrisons as anybody. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. We're going to go through it all because we're going to update the old garrison guide here. We're going to show you the best garrisons for each troop type, and by popular demand, I am going to give you the best artifact garrison. So stick around. It doesn't matter what KVK. It doesn't matter what troop type. We're going to get you set up to garrison and wreck people because garrisons win KVKs. Let me tell you. So stick around and we'll get into it right now. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chadsky. I do videos for Rise of Kingdoms all the time. If you enjoy these videos, throw a thumbs up on it, give it a like. You get any kind of entertainment value out of it, or if it helps you out with your account, that's what we want to do. And if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. Hit that subscribe button, and you can hit that bell to get alerts when I do content like this. Doesn't cost you anything, guys. Helps out the channel, helps out everything. And we're in the middle of our $10 flux giveaway. Every single video, I give away a $10 flux. And so in our previous video, we got a random comment, but by one of my guys who's always commenting, Optimus Prime Tony. This is the video. I'll have a card on the top. This is about the great city skin tool that Daver put together. It's amazing. You can compare any city skin you want. Go back and check that out. He says, great job, Broski and Daver. I have just been considering buying the 8% defense skin in the KVK shop. Thanks for the info. Looks like I'm buying it because I could never gain 60 million power for the Zenith skin. Now, Zenith's coming up. That's why we put that video out. That's why Daver put the tool out. Check that out. And congratulations, Optimus Prime. Tony, you win the $10 flux. And if you want to enter to win, all you got to do is comment down below in the comment section. I pick a winner every single video. So these are the garrisons. Hey, yo, Gorgo, love her. I've used her a ton. I even used to use her on my main. Got David. He's cooking. I run the garrisons like crazy, okay? I run the garrisons on my main. I run them on my second account. I ran them for years, been running garrisons. And it is amazing to see. Like, guys, you come over here to my reports. Like, it's all garrisons all the time. There's some city rallies. Hey, yo, we love those. But you come in here and it's a ton of garrisons. Tons of garrisons, okay? Garrisoning everything. Garrisoning against all kinds of stuff. And things have changed now that we've gotten new commanders and we've got Hyam on the archers and Pincer 2's come out. We run the garrisons, baby. Ran a ton of them, okay? Pincer 2, I'm scared to death of. Shatterstorm cooked me a little bit last KVK, and it's the only rally where I've literally set up and said, hey, with my Attila garrison, I'm literally afraid of Pincer 2.0. But have no fear. Delta 2.0 is coming out. We're going to get a chance to get nasty with that. So let's talk about the garrisons. First, we're going to talk about cavalry. I'll have a section and I'll have a different chapter for each troop type. So you can skip ahead to whatever troop type you want. Right now, we're going to focus on the cavalry. And right now, cavalry, David is the meta. Okay. Whether you run him two different ways, it's really simple for cavalry. Okay. You either run him as a primary if you do not have a threat to be swarmed. You run David as the primary. Where's my guy? Where is David? I just had him. There he is. And you run him as a primary, okay? He's got crazy good damage. 3 target AoE is amazing, by the way. He cleanses slow, poison, exhaust, and normal debuffs. It's great, okay? His second skill, 35% defense, great for cavalry, all right? And he takes 10% less skill damage. He cooks archers. That's what he's built for. And he also does some combo attack damage bonus. Also an additional instant proc combo that he does. His 4 skills amazing. Also amazing in the field. But he is going to inflict a 40% debuff to the target where they take 40% more combo attack damage for 3 seconds. That fires off. That's always why you want to make sure you have a combo commander behind David. That's not... People run Attila behind David sometimes. It doesn't do you any good. You got to run a combo commander secondary when you run David. He can either be the secondary or you can have Hector behind him, okay? So his expertise, 10% less damage, and then when you get the target under 50% units, you're going to deal 5% more damage, okay? So with that, who do you pair David with? Well, if you're going against a rally, all right, 1v1 versus rally, it's Hector, 100%. Hector's amazing. You know, it's so funny. Hector's a part of the cavalry meta. He's also a part of the archer meta. He's also a part of the infantry meta, just depending if you want to go Gorgo Hector or Gorgo Tokugawa. And listening to people say that Hector's only service is for like maybe other things, not like actually for he's a part of the Garrison meta. I don't get it. I don't understand why anybody would say that. Anyways, so we're coming in here and we're looking at Hector. Okay, he's the most versatile commander in the game because he does damage whatever troop type it is. If he's behind an infantry commander, you're going to see him with Gorgo. He does smite damage. Behind David, he does combo damage. Behind Hyam, he does skill damage. All right, and he's got little buffs. Obviously, he's got these things for all troop buffs. Okay, and he's got different things with his third skill. If he's behind infantry, he does a smite damage and gives you a chance to increase that smite damage by 15%. With cavalry, he does an extra proc of combo damage. And with archers, he puts down a debuff, which is great. Okay, so with cavalry and David, he does the extra combo damage, okay? Love instant proc combo. That's why David Hector is so potent. Holy jeez. And if their troop's primary commander has the infantry or cavalry talent, every second their troop has a 50% chance to gain 20% normal damage bonus, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay? And so it's got a 7-second cooldown, which is kind of unique, but it works out really, really well no matter if he's with David or Gorgo, okay? We'll get into this skill when we talk about Hyam in a few, all right? And then on his expertise, with one troop type, you're going to deal 10% more damage. With 2 or more troop types, because you can run him with mix, you're going to take 10% less smite combo and skill damage, which is good. It's pretty much like all damage because so much of the damage you're taking is from smite combo or skill damage. So you do have benefits whether you run him with mono troop type or with mixed troop type. So with David, that's your cav meta against rallies, okay? Straight up. Now, the hard part is Pincer 2 has come out, and CPO Emilianus with Ivar it's just cooking right now, and it's hurting the Cav Garrisons. Not ideal. Okay, we need a new Cav Garrison, or we need a Delta 2.0 to combat Ivar and Pincer 2.0. So if you're gonna face off against the Archer rallies, if you're gonna face off against Cav rallies, bro, David Hector gonna cook. Okay, the other side of David is the anti-swarm, and probably the best, most well-rounded Garrison there is running Attila primary, guys. Attila in the Garrison, I've been running it for 3 years, even with artifact KVKs before we got combo commanders. I would run them with Gorgo. That was like the undefeated Garrison, the Attila Gorgo, right? I never got beat. It was just incredible. Did everything, okay? Of course, we know Attila not only is prickly, okay, because he's got the all damage that he does on his 4 skill, and in addition to that, he has got the normal damage that enhances whoever's behind him, and then the extra 30% counterattack damage that makes him more prickly, okay? And so he's an enhancer, and not only is he an enhancer, he's also a prickly commander when it comes to this, and he can't be silenced. He's a little bit of a CPO Emilianus. He's a little bit of a CPO Emilianus counter, okay? So he typically does better against CPO Emilianus and Ivar, all right? But you're going to deal 20% more normal damage when the rallied army has less than 50% units. So makes it prickly, okay? You want to run a great, well-rounded Garrison, you run Attila David. Now, against the rallies, David Hector probably does a little bit better 1v1 with a great combo Delta set, but doing well enough against the rallies where it cooks the rallies and being able to be anti-swarm, the Attila David is your choice, okay? So I'm going to pull this thing up here. We're going to go through the best Cav Garrisons, and it's really simple, guys. Now, some of the other troop types are going to get real complex, and the artifact one's going to get real complex. Best versus the swarm, Attila David. Best versus the rally, David with Hector, and then best all around, Attila David. That's simple. It's that simple and easy. I've been running the hell out of it. You guys can go back to see my live streams with my main. I run the Garrisons like crazy, does enough damage, and really, really does well. So with that being said, okay, we can move on now to the infantry. Infantry are a little different, boys. Now, the one constant with infantry is Gorgo. She's always going to be the primary. She's always going to be the one you want to run. There's none of this like Toku Hector, Toku Hera, nothing stupid like that. You're always going to run Gorgo primary. okay? Gorgo still does it even to today. Her damage factor of 2,300, not huge, okay, but she gets the benefit of the 10% normal damage, all right? She does give some counterattack, and she takes less skill damage, okay? That's good against archers. It really is, even though the archers counter her pretty good. But in addition to that, she gets 40% attack, and then this is it. This is my favorite thing. Whenever the troop launches a basic attack, you have a 10% chance to increase the target's normal damage received by 30 seconds for 3 seconds. That is a great debuff, okay? Rarely do we see debuffs like this on a second skill. Okay, and here's why. Because you get other things here. All right, first of all, you get 30% health when you're a garrison, and when you launch a basic attack, you have a 25% chance to deal extra smite. Instant proc smite with only a 4-second cooldown, okay? This fires off a lot, ranking up the damage, okay? You rack that stuff up. And then whenever your commander deals smite damage, it deals 30% more normal damage for 3 seconds. So she buffs the secondary behind her to come over the top with more smite, okay? It's great. It is absolutely great. And so that's what works with her and works exceptionally well. And then, of course, her expertise, all right? You're going to gain a shield, all right? And you're going to reduce the attack of up to 5 nearby enemy troops by 30% for 3 seconds. Only a 5-second cooldown on that. Gorgo's still amazing to this day, okay? Now, they gave us Tokugawa, right? They finally gave us the smite partner with infantry with Gorgo. And he does a lot of damage, all right? And he puts up a little bit of a shield. Really helps his trades a lot. Really helps his trades, okay? And he does a little bit of a defense reduction to the target, all right? His when this commander troop launches a basic attack or a counterattack, their infantry have a 25% chance to gain 30% attack for 4 seconds. There's high uptime on this, all right, because there's no cooldown. And so there's high uptime on this, so you're able to get this quite a bit, and you rack up that infantry attack bonus to 30%. You get a march speed bonus, which is weird. You don't need that, and then you get a little bit of defense here. Okay, Tokugawa is not really a sustained type of guy. He helps you with trades when it comes to a little bit of his shield and big damage, but he's not really a healing, big time defensive guy. And so if this commander's Garrison, the Garrison deals 10% more damage. That's always good. And whenever you deal smite damage, you have a 25% chance to cleanse, slow, poison, exhaust, or normal debuffs. Okay, that's like kind of what David does, except David does it every single skill cycle. Okay, if this effect has multiple stack, it cleanses 1 stack. Okay, that's off of like poison, right? And you gain 1 stack of Toshu effect. Now, this is really effective because you get a 5% bonus to health for every stack of Toshu, and it also stacks up to 4 times. So that's 20% health. Really good. Really, really good. Gives him a little bit of that tankiness we said he misses, and so it gives it a little bit. It's his 4 skill. Whenever you're receiving a buff, you have a 50% chance to gain a damage-absorbing shield, so you get another shield, okay, of 1,200 damage factor. You got a 600 damage factor heal here, so you're able to get that mighty shield, and it helps out a lot. And then when his expertise, whenever you launch a basic attack or counterattack, you got a 15% chance, 30%, by the way, chance if he has a shield to deal smite damage to up to 3 nearby enemy troops at a damage factor of 300, and you get the damage mitigation for hitting multiple troops. Cooldown of 10 seconds. Very underwhelming expertise, but he works really, really well. So that's a really good combo, obviously, especially against rallies. Okay, Gorgo Toku with Pincer 2.0 is doing really well. Now, what else works with Gorgo, okay? What else works is our boy Hector. Hector, depending on who you ask, guys, I'm not the one that does the rock battles, but you can see and test in there the garrisons between Gorgo and Hector, between that and Gorgo and Toku, they're about the same. And some people swear by Hector. They love Hector. Hector does a ton of damage when it talks about smite damage. He does the health and the defense here. Obviously, he does the 50% chance that the damage is going to be increased on his 3rd skill from the smite. And I love this, that he ramps up the normal damage. Okay, Gorgo loves normal damage. Running Gorgo with Hector with Arch formation actually does just as well as Pincer, but now with Pincer 2 out, it doesn't quite do as well as Pincer 2. Okay, it's just too good. Of course, we know what Hector does here. Okay, so that gives you an opportunity to run Gorgo with Hector, and then here's the beauty. Okay, Hector, all these things work in Garrison, and they all work for mixed troops. So if you're just trying to keep a flag healthy, if you're just trying to keep it up, you can dump whatever you want in there with Gorgo and Hector. Okay, it's not going to trade amazing, but it's not going to get you killed. Okay, but if the rally is cooking you and you're running low on troops, you just go dump cats, go dump archers, go dump siege, whatever it is. Keep the flag alive, okay, until you can get the right reinforcements there. Or if your murder ball's coming to clear out the enemy that's got you overrun, then you can survive. That's what Hector allows you to do. And if you run a little bit of mixed, he's actually really, really good. Okay, you just run a little bit. Now, if you run a ton of mixed, it's not going to work as well because Gorgo's buffs for her infantry are not going to be as good. All right, but overall, Gorgo, Hector, fantastic mono troop type, great to use with mixed troop type, and it works out well. Okay, what else do we have? Obviously, we also have, where's he at? We also have Hera. We don't necessarily like running Hera with Gorgo, but there's a new fad. Everybody's enjoying this. Oh, God. Ragnar. Like, this is OP Ragnar, like the OG Ragnar, okay? This is the original gangsta Ragnar, all right? He doesn't do anything but a 40% damage buff, and he takes 20% less damage. That's it. That's like all he does. In his second skill, you get 20% attack. That's it. The healing doesn't mean anything. His third skill is when you're attacking cities. His fourth skill has to do when you're leading a rallied army attack. And then his expertise just enhances his first skill. So off of one skill and 20% attack, how does this guy work in an anti-swarm situation? Because that's what people use it for with Gorgo. And here's how it works. It is basically one skill, and then it's this stuff over here. Now, I haven't unlocked him because I don't run him with cavalry. Ragnar doesn't work with cavalry. He does work with infantry, and it's what people kind of like to run. But look what he's got here, all right? On his level 3, he gives a 35% defense to troops, okay? No matter what kind of troop type it is, but then there it is. Normal damage reduction of 20%. So if you're getting hit with smite, combo, or any kind of smite or combo damage, that mitigates that damage by 20%, okay? Now, if you run Gorgo Ragnar, it only works okay in a seriously heavily swarmed situation. All right, you let a rally run against that thing, it's going to cook it. You let an archer rally run against it, it's going to get destroyed. Like, don't run Gorgo Ragnar if they're not swarming you, okay? That is the one takeaway from this video. Don't get caught up in some crazy fad that, oh my God, Gorgo Ragnar is OP. Like, no, listen, if you're getting swarmed, it gives you some sustain, all right? The all damage kicks back damage. It's pretty prickly. But it's going to get absolutely destroyed by rallies. Destroyed. Especially archer rallies, okay? So that gives you a little bit of help there. Now, what I like to do, if I'm not necessarily worried about some sustain and taking 20% less damage for 5 seconds and then taking 20% less normal damage from his museum buff, I like to run Martel. I like to put Martel behind my Gorgo and sneak that in, mainly because you get a 30% damage bonus with Martel, okay? You get really good stats here with 20% defense and 20% health, all right? And then I don't even think this is a city garrison deal, but you get 30% counterattack damage, and it works out really well, okay? In addition to this, you want to talk about museum buffs. Hey, yo, Martel, let's go. Where's he at? 50% infantry attack and 10% more health. All right, you can punish swarmers with a Gorgo Martel. Absolutely punish swarmers. All right, it might not have the sustain as a Ragnar, but you're going to do so much damage to swarmers, guys. Trust me, I know, because I've done it, and I've also swarmed it. And it sucks to swarm these things. And so from there, let's go over to our tier list, and let's talk about the infantry tier list, okay? First and foremost, best versus swarms. If you don't have anything else, you can run Gorgo with Hera. It's okay. I put Ragnar up here because he can now be used against the swarms. The best against the swarms is a Gorgo Martel. Just straight up. Just the best to punish the swarms, all right? Again, if you're in that weird situation to where you're getting heavy swarmed and you're getting a rally put on you, You can put a Gorgo Ragnar. You're not going to trade great, but it can survive. That's when you use that, okay? Best against the rallies, really simple. Gorgo Toku, Gorgo Hector. Gorgo Hector allows you to use mixed. And best overall, there really isn't a best overall. It's not like Attila with the cavalry, okay? Because you either go heavy against the rallies and really cook the rallies with Gorgo Toku or Gorgo Hector, or you go heavy against the swarms and you cook the swarms. But they don't do both. These are going to get destroyed by swarms. These are going to get destroyed by rallies. Okay, so there is no best all around. There really isn't. Okay, and so from there, that is how the infantry lays out when it comes to kind of your infantry tier list, all right? Now, let's go over to the archers. We got a new Garrison commander. Now that we've run this guy through the ringer, we're going to talk about him just a little bit, okay? We're going to talk about Hyam. I'm waiting to max this guy on my main because I want to use him for the archer garrison, and I've got all the cool stuff to do it with. This dude does damage. Holy cow, does he do damage, okay? He gains the Devourer effect, all right, where he heals a little bit. And whenever you heal slightly wounded troops when dealing direct or true damage equal to 10% of the damage factor. Well, he's doing a ton of damage factor, okay? And he's a skill damage garrison. We wanted one, we got it. 30% attack, 10% health, okay? And when your troop contains only archer units, it takes 10% less smite damage. Really a counter to the infantry. It's the only thing that counters the SA Ivar with Pincer 2.0. It's the only thing that can counter it, okay? And so from here, the commander troop, while he's in the garrison, you're going to gain 5% bonus to heal and shield effects. That comes from CY, okay? When you run him secondary, when their troop receives smite damage, you have a 50% chance to reduce the attacker's rage speed by 5% for 2 seconds, but that's actually at 20% for 2 seconds. It's great. And the healing bonus is 10%. The shield bonus is 10%. All right. And if the commander's garrison is stronghold, for every 10% of garrison units lost, you cleanse one debuff and you do 5% more damage for 10 seconds up to a max of 15%. Okay. Up to a max of 15%. Really good. All right. His last skill, you're going to get a 10% defense bonus. And then for every 2 instances of the basic or counterattack damage dealt, the garrison immediately deals direct damage to the target troop or attacker for a 200 damage factor. You can trigger this up to 6 times in a second. It's great. Okay. And so that's what you get there. And then his expertise is really good. All right. Because you're going to deal 5% more skill damage and true damage. And when you're inflicted with a control effect, if you're trying to silence this guy, like if SA Scipio Emilianus is trying to silence him, you're going to cleanse that. You're going to negate it. And then you're going to deal 50% more counterattack damage. So he has a little bit of prickliness. This is why we say do not swarm Hyam with a Scipio Emilianus primary for a field march, a swarming march, because Scipio Emilianus has his 4 skill where every skill cycle, just about every skill cycle, he's going to try to silence. Okay. And when you try to silence, Hyam's going to punish you and punish all the swarmers. Okay. And so that's why that is an infantry counter. Okay. So Hyam against the rally, you run Hyam with one commander and one commander only. Again, there he is. Here's our boy. That is the meta archer garrison. All right. Hyam with Hector is the meta archer garrison. All right. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's the best archer garrison against one-on-one against rallies. All right. So there he is again. Hector being part of the meta. What use does this guy have? Are you kidding me? And so from there, you have other things you can do. Now, a lot like Attila and David, when you run Hyam with CY, you've got really good anti-swarm. I say really good. It's not like busted, but it's pretty good anti-swarm. And you've got the healing and sustain with CY. So there is good application there for kind of an all-around situation. A Hyam CY is not going to get completely wrecked. Now, it'll get beat by like an Attila Subutai rally. And then when William Marshall comes into the game, that thing's probably going to cook the Hyam CY garrisons. All right. But overall, right now, you're cooking the infantry. You're doing well enough against the archers, and then you supply CY with the counterattack stuff that he's got and the sustain he's got against the swarm. All right. You can also run Hera. All right. Hyam with Hera does really, really good. We love Hera's expertise. All right. You take 10% less normal damage. And then when you have 3 different troop types, which you can run that with Hayam, the normal damage it takes is reduced by another 20%. That's a 30% normal damage mitigation. Okay, so Hera with Hayam actually does pretty good against the cavalry and the infantry rallies. Does really good. Now, Hera gets obliterated by Shapur, so there's some rock, paper, scissors stuff going on, but that's how you can run the archers. Really, really good. So with that, let's come over to our next tier list, which is our best archer garrisons, all right? Best versus swarms, I put Hera there. I also have a CY Ragnar, okay? This was something else, again, with that fad everybody's talking about. You're running CY primary, okay? Where is he at? Where is my CY? You're running CY primary, all right? You get good defense there. Obviously, you heal a ton, and then Ragnar mitigates so much of that normal damage that it works out pretty well. Okay, that's when you're getting heavy swarmed. And it actually does a little bit better on the anti-swarm than a Gorgo Ragnar. For whatever reason, it just does. And you're able to survive because of the healing. And so you have some application against the swarms with CY and Ragnar. Okay, and then you've also got Hayam, let's see here, Hayam with Hera, no problem. And that's how that works. Now, from there, your best against the rallies is going to be Hayam with CY and Hayam Hector. We already know this, okay? Hayam CY and Hayam Hector will be the best. You could kind of put Hayam's Hera up here, okay? But against archers, it's going to get absolutely destroyed. Destroyed, all right? But best overall, guys, you could run Hayam Hector and Hayam CY. That's how you could do that. Hayam CY I really like because he actually is okay for anti-swarm. You could put a Hayam CY down here, and he's all around pretty good. Pretty good garrison. All right. It's not crazy overpowering, which is really disappointing for our archer players, but he's pretty good. So that gives you your best combinations with the archer garrison. 95% of you guys out there running 95% of the kingdoms don't have to worry about crazy, heavy Hope and Lion and Velociraptor and Chadsky swarms everywhere. So you can run a Hayam Hector and just go cook any rally that comes against you. It cooks it, man. It absolutely cooks it. Okay, and so that's what you've got with your archers, all right? Now, this is the fun part. How are we going to run these artifact garrisons? Well, there's one in particular that I think you guys might be sleeping on, okay? Now, you guys know me. I have run the Attila Gorgo forever. Like forever. Where is it? I have run the Attila with the Gorgo for so long. There's just so many good synergies with the two. Amazing normal damage, amazing. You run it with Arch and you go cook everybody. To this day, it was always my undefeated garrison. Like with my Arch set, this thing never got beat. But there's other things we can do now. So I'm going to show you guys some things that are amazing, and I'm going to show you what the absolute best is because it's something you're not even thinking about, okay? First of all, let's bring this up and let's come over here to our best artifact garrisons. Let's go. Okay, first of all, against the swarms, all right? Against the swarms, Gorgo CY and CY Gorgo both work really, really well against the swarms, okay? Really well. Now, if you're running infantry and you want to put Attila behind Gorgo instead of Martel, Gorgo Attila, great against the swarms in an artifact KVK, okay? Then you've got Attila with Gorgo, which is really good against the swarms in artifact KVKs. Fantastic. Then you've got a CY Attila. Guys, oh my God. Make Attila an archer commander, put him behind CY at an artifact KVK, get wrecked. That's one way you can use your archers and do some punishing damage between CY and Attila, okay? And then the greatest of all time anti-swarm garrisons, Attila Martel. Attila Martel. I still run it in artifact KVKs for my counter rallies. Just inflicts deads on. You want to swarm this thing? Good luck. Okay, the two most prickly commanders in the game with all damage and counterattack damage and normal damage, you put them together, it's a match made in heaven. It's a bowling ball of butcher knives. Good luck trying to touch it. It's a porcupine. It's going to stick you. And so from there, those are your best combinations of anti-swarm with artifacts, which is great because it gives us some archer garrisons. It gives us some cav garrisons, gives us some infantry garrisons. We're cooking pretty good, okay? Now, let's talk about the rallies. Here's one you're not thinking of. Hyam with Flavius and Hyam with Eleanor. What? Hyam? Yeah, baby. Get ready to look at this. First of all, people sleep. And I mean they sleep on the old Flavius, boys. 2,300 damage factor, all right? And if the target has less than 50% units remaining, it takes an additional damage of 150 every second for 3 seconds, okay? That is 2,750 damage factor, all right? In addition to that, 15% attack and then 15% defense and health, not a big deal. It actually kind of sucks. It's old. Flavius is an old commander. But then here, you're going to do 20% more counterattack damage. And if you're serving as a garrison commander, when the garrison launches a basic attack, you inflict 1 stack of the following debuff. The target takes 1% more damage from infantry units for 15 seconds. And it can stack up to 10 times. You can get that to stack 10 times. That's 10% more damage. Great. Now you come into the next one. You're going to deal another 10% damage. Okay, people forget Flavius has got like a really good kit. Now, whenever their troop launches a basic attack against a target that is currently taking additional damage over time, now you have that from his active skill, okay? Whenever that additional damage over time, you have a 100% chance to silence the target for 2 seconds. So now we got a silence coming from Flavius. Forget how good this guy was. And then his commander troops takes 10% less normal damage. Great against cavalry, great against infantry. Whenever their troop uses an active skill, it has a 30% chance to inflict the 2 stacks of the debuff, where you take 1% damage, okay? And this effect can stack up to 10 times, and it resets, and it can stack with the effect of the defense of the Gaul skill, okay? So this is a whole nother skill. So we're just laying down more damage. You put this dude with Hyam, guys, against rallies, holy geez, it cooks. I'm just telling you. All right, so there's Flavius. Now let's talk about Eleanor, another skill damage commander for cavalry. All right, first of all, good damage here. All right, and you're going to take 10% less skill damage, which is good. All right, and then you get 20% attack. And if the commander serving as a garrison commander, you take 15% less counterattack. That sucks. We don't care. Okay, this commander's cavalry units gain 15% defense, and whenever you're hit with a basic attack, you got a 10% chance to use the Lily of the Wild skill, so we love the instant proc. Okay, every 10 seconds, you got a 10% chance to lay down the extra 2,300 damage factor, which we love instant procs. It's great. Now you're going to do 10% more normal more overall damage from her 4 skill. And for 3 seconds after the troop uses an active skill, 5 nearby allied and friendly troops, including this commander's, gain 5% bonus to damage dealt. Okay, for every allied and friendly troop nearby, excluding this commander troop gains an additional 1% damage dealt up to 5%. You can run that up to 10%. You could run that up to 10%. Okay? So that's like 20% more damage. That's if there's a bunch of marches around the garrison. So we'll see how that works. But you're going to take 5% less damage on the expertise, and you're going to deal 10% more skill damage to its current target. So you go run her with Hyam. Hey, yo, good luck, man. That thing runs really, really good. Okay, so Hyam with Flavius, Hyam with Eleanor. Don't knock it till you try it. Really good. All right. The other one that's exceptional against the rallies is Gorgo and David. Get ready, y'all. Get ready. Gorgo David, all right, with the arch formation. I know there's a lot of you infantry players out there that still have that infantry arch formation. You go put the arch formation on Gorgo, and you run David behind her. Like, get ready, y'all. Get ready. You get 10% more normal damage here. You got the 30% normal damage debuff here. Okay. Then our 4 skill, you got the 30% more normal damage for David to pummel. Just wreck things. And you go run her with Arch, with special inscriptions here, here, and here. We hate destructive. Don't run it here. But you go run that with Arch. Here's a great thing. My buddy Maury over in 2293, of course, you guys know Maury, one of the best garrison players in Rise of Kingdoms. He still has his Arch formation for Gorgo. He was like, Chatsky, getting ready to start Pass 7 in Kingsland. I got Artifact. What do I run? I was like, you still got that Arch for infantry? He's like, hell yeah, I do. I was like, Gorgo David, bro, get ready. Gorgo David running up the normal damage. and then allowing David to come just pummel with the combo damage, okay? You're running up the normal damage, 40% bonus for him to do this combo. That's like running him with Attila, but you're just doing more damage with Gorgo. And then you just go cook this thing. Gorgo with this dude against rallies? Hey, yo, 40% more combo attack damage? Hey, yo. I mean, it is killer. It is the king of the artifact garrisons when you're going up against a rally. Okay, and overall, I still have the Gorgo behind Attila because it's always undefeated for me. Still amazing. And then there it is, guys. The best all-around artifact garrison, Gorgo with David. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. You're going to see some crazy reports from it, and you can do some serious damage with it. Okay, you run that with Pincer 2, you run it with Arch, you can run it with whatever you want, it's gonna cook. So, there is your garrison setup. Here's your artifact garrison, here's your archer garrison, here's your infantry garrison, here's your cavalry garrison. Really pretty simple. You can take this guide, you can check it out. Anything that can help you guys be better players, that's what we want to do here. So, like the video if you guys wouldn't mind, okay? Comment down below, enter to win for that chance to win a $10 Flux. We're going to get out of here. We love you, broskies, okay? I hope you have a great day. I hope you keep progressing your accounts in the game. Hit me up on my Discord. The link's down in the description. I always answer. I ain't hard to find. You can always tag me if you want to get a hold of me. So, with all that, we hope you have a great day, broskies.